Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Dork Publishing, expanding minds through fantasy since 2018. Learn more at the Dork Publishing website, www.dorcpublishing.com.
I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I am your host, Kathy Blaze. Today we have an amazing talent for you. He is the founder of Gospel Music Gazette Magazine. Let's welcome Mr. Eric Maurice Clark. Hello there.
Hello.
Such a pleasure to have you.
Likewise.
I like hugs if that's
Could I
okay.
give you a hug?
Yes. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
So, Eric, you are the founder of Gospel Music Gazette Magazine.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. When did you establish this magazine?
Well, in the latter part of 2020, during the whole COVID ordeal, I just got busy and I started a magazine to salute a lot of our pioneers and legends in gospel music, because I feel like it's a genre of music that does not really get the inside scope on the people that really help to bring it about.
That's you know what, I have to say I love it with you being a young man
Thank you.
doing something like this. I mean, because most times people don't think of a young man creating a magazine of this sort. So I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. So how long have you ever done anything like this before?
Oh, absolutely. All my life. I'm an old soul in a young body, if you will. Well, I'm getting older now. But at the age of 13, I started a gospel TV show, pretty much to salute the talent in the community. And that passion just grew enormously, and just became just fascinated with the history of gospel music.
Oh, okay. So I assume that means you grew up in the church.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did I kind of figured that. Well, we're excited to have you here in Arizona.
Thank you.
How long have you been here in Arizona?
I've been here for 8 long, hot years.
Don't be complaining. So, being here in Arizona with the Gospel Magazine, who are your talent that we would see in your magazine?
Well, all over the United States and abroad. But I really focus on, right now I'm really focusing on the golden age of gospel music, because it's kind of the prelude to rock and roll and a lot of the different other American music genres. So those would be but here in Phoenix, there is one person I would like to go ahead and mention. Actually, there's a family that was really vital in the evolution of gospel, well, in the golden age, and that's the Overstreet family.
Okay.
Reverend Louis Overstreet. He came from Louisiana, and there was a producer that actually followed him to Phoenix and was just in awe, just wanted to record him. He had a street ministry, and he did some documentary sort of segments, footage of him, and those are some of the footage that you see in a lot of documentaries on, gospel music or rock and roll or whatnot.
That's awesome. I never knew that. Are the family, or they're Arizonans?
No, they're from Louisiana, but thankfully, all 5 brothers are still alive, still today. The father is deceased, but all 5 of the brothers that actually sang on the album are still alive.
Are they still performing?
No, that's one thing that really gets me about them, that they're really not music artists. They were just doing something that was within them, you know what I mean? And I think that's what really captivated the producer, that he wanted to capture that authenticity.
So you yourself, Eric, other than the person behind the magazine, are you a music artist yourself?
I am, but I like to say I'm more of a writer. I like to write songs. I'm a lyricist. I love to inspire, because when we as a people are inspired, we do better at aiming towards our goals and our dreams. Yeah.
Right. So, what's next after this magazine? I mean, this was birthed during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this something that's going to continue and grow and grow and grow?
Oh, absolutely, because there's a lot of unsung individuals, and once that particular generation of the golden age of gospel music, once that's pretty much gone, we still have the evolution of contemporary gospel music, which birthed CCM music, and it's a lot of work out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're finding a lot of people going back to their roots also.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, whether they're doing secular music right now, people are going back to their roots right now.
Absolutely,
So, and like you said, I mean, that's where it started.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though a lot of people are doing different forms of music styles, that's where they started at.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love that. So, can I see your magazine,
absolutely.
please? Okay. And this is something you totally created all of this yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you have others that work with you?
Absolutely. Kudos to my copy editor, Brother Mike, with Wordsmith coaches. And then also my graphic designer, which is Larry Robertson. Actually, the prelude to that magazine was Larry Robertson asked me to write a column in his Gospel Updates magazine. And it's just one thing led to another, and I decided to present a magazine, but I really just wanted to be something to keep my face out there and keep my work out there, because at that particular time I was working on a book pretty much about the voice of gospel music, and it was one thing led to another. I saw orders from I think it was Australia. And I'm like, how in the world is that, and then it was just overwhelming, and I just continued.
That is wonderful. So tell me, let's say this edition right here, how do you go back deciding on, because there's so much talent out there. How do you go by deciding, well, this is who I want in this magazine right now?
Kathy, that is a great question, and a lot of people ask me that, and I'm so honored to answer that. I go off of inspiration. A lot of times people in life, they just moving without any type of direction. Sometimes it's mind-boggling to me, because I could be at almost close to the finish line or the deadline, and I haven't even came up with any features, but it's just when that inspiration comes, that's who I do. So I do a series of interviews. I have probably over 500 interviews, and it's just that inspiration, and just like this one. And they just keep, sometimes I add to the list, sometimes I subtract from the list. But at the end, I'm very comfortable with the decision.
That's awesome. You know what? I love the way your eyes lit up when you told that story. And and I know that feeling, because that's the same way when I go back. I'm sitting here talking to you right now, but then I'll go back later and watch an interview, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I enjoy it, because we're here. It's just like having a conversation with someone. We hear it and we understand. But later on, when you go and hear it again or see it again, you get a total different appreciation for that. And I totally understand that. So with so much, oh my God, I'm just thinking about, we talk about this quite often, that, there's so much untouched or untapped talent out there. So you're giving so many people an opportunity to showcase what they're doing. They could be someone in this little town or this little place that's out there working their behinds out and just doing it. Right. But the masses may not know about them.
Absolutely. I like to say this, there's not a piece to a puzzle that's not important. Every piece to the puzzle counts. And that's in musical terms, whether it's the audience, whether it's the musician, whoever, they count, because they make up the body, So let's see here. Luckily, everyone on this one, they're Well, I put it like this: like he's a choir director. He can't play, you know. Then you have singers. He can't direct, you know. So it's just a various.
That's true. I love that. I love the way you think, because that is true. That's the same way when we talk about in the film industry. We invite. This is an entertainment show, but we have had people from lighting to sound to videographers to the musicians. All those pieces count, as you state. I mean, you can't, craft services, you can't leave one of them out because, oh, these people are important. They're all important.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. So do you, and I know you said it's about inspiration. Is there not a reason for doing something at a point in a magazine that you just say, you know what, I have to do it this way?
Well, not necessarily. Well, if I'm understanding correctly, so say for instance, there's a scenario. So I was working on Queenie Lennox, her article, and I was going back. I was listening to the interview, and she said something about it. She said a name. She mentioned a name that I'm like, wow, I've heard that name before. I know her from Maurice Clark, but she went back to the 50s and said that she sang with her mom. So I got on the Facebook stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I looked up, and Lord, she was on there.
Oh, wow.
And I interviewed her, and she's in her 80s, recorded back in 1954 with Queenie Lennox's mom. I said, you know, so that matched much together. Now and that's how that inspiration sparked, really, honestly. Yeah.
So, Eric, what were you doing before you started the magazine?
Well, there was a lot that I was doing in relations to my work. You know, I'm a avid vinyl collector, so like I've been on the treasure hunt for a lot of music. So I was basically searching for vinyl, doing interviews, phone interviews. There's something about the phone, you know. I mean, I like video, but it's just the voice. It's something that's undescribable about the voice that you can really. It touched the soul. You know what I mean? In a sense. So I was doing that, traveling around.
I think I like to say, I think it leaves more to the imagination.
Thank you. Okay.
Because when you're visually there with that person, you're seeing what you want to see, but see, you have to guess. Yeah.
And that's fascinating, exciting stuff. Yeah, and then prior to the magazine too, oh my God, I was just going wherever I was led. Like I was going to the cemeteries to pay. I still do that, like different gospel artists. Prior to the magazine, I went to Chicago and went to Roberta Martin's gravesite, and she was one of the primitive gospel music artists way before the golden age of gospel music. Go to different historic churches and film the structure and document the history. So I was doing a lot of different things before the magazine.
That's wonderful. You're pretty interesting. Tell me one of your, and I'm going to save this question till after. I know you brought us some media.
Okay.
I'd like to take a look at your media, okay? But I have to remember that question I want to get from you.
Basically, I just really wanted to bring this conversational piece back into the homes, because we're straying away from a lot of our traditions and things of that sort. My vehicle of doing it was the Coffee Table Magazine, inside the gospel music historian's world. And matter of fact, when I think about that name, I really just wanted to do one magazine, but the response was just overwhelming. So I decided to continue, and we are here today. A lot of people say, what about gospel music? You can't really explain it because it comes from within, Gospel music never designed to be an art form. It just stumbled across being an art form because it's just authenticity. So get a copy of the magazine. Trust me, it's something inside the magazine for you, and even you. It's important to embrace your history.
I love that. You bring a smile to my face just listening to you talk. I love that because I truly believe it does come from within. I tell you, I can, when I'm in some type of feeling, I just put some gospel music on, driving, and I mean, it just changes your whole mindset and how you're feeling. But the question I wanted to ask you was, can you tell me one article or interview that just touched you the most or inspired you?
It's been many, but the first thing that comes to mind is about 2 months ago. Man, I'm a very emotional person, so I'm just warning you now. Okay? So I got the opportunity to travel to Detroit, Michigan, to really embrace this gospel giant in my own strategic way. Her name is Beverly Glenn, and just the love going out there to Detroit. I mean, she literally was so excited. We went everywhere together, and we were able to capture like the first venue for the GMWA, and that started back in 1967, 68. And we talked about her music. We traveled to Flint, Michigan to be with Jeffrey LaValle, who's the writer of Revelations 19. Kanye West just covered it in Maverick City Music also as well. So it was just so exciting and so personal and exclusive to be with a giant. And then also, too, to finally meet someone, you know, her music has really touched me. And just to interview her and ask her questions about the origins of her lyrics. Oh, man, it was precious.
Wow,
My God, it was precious.
Awesome. That is awesome.
It was so precious.
So I know you also did upgrade. You have a new look to your magazine. What inspired that?
Well, first and foremost, inside the gospel music historian's world, I got tired of saying that myself. So I wanted to shorten it up, be creative. Who use Gazette? You know, that's an archaic term,
Right.
you know, so I'm always trying to be creative. So it took me a while, and I came up with that concept, and here we are today with the Gospel Music Gazette.
Well, you know what? And acronyms are always good. And I love that you put that on your magazine as well. So you have all these faces of glory all over your magazine. You do them quarterly?
Yes.
Okay, you created a magazine. What else do you foresee coming along with the magazine? I mean, because there's so much more you can add to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So a branch of the magazine, I started a YouTube series entitled Gospel Diaries.
Oh, okay.
And what I do in that YouTube series, I just got back from a trip. I travel around the country, going to these legends, to these pioneers, you know, doing my own type of embracing on them, you know, and really, you know, bringing about footage that would probably never, you know, surface if someone did not, you know, take the opportunity or take the time to actually do that. I mean, I go to the trenches. And I'm talking about, and like my focus too is not on a lot of the mainstream artists. Like I want to know about those that really touch the community, you know, because there's a difference from touching. Well, I mean, we know a lot of these people's music, but we don't know their names and we don't know their stories. We only know the people that's in the limelight. So my passion is to go out and understand the voice of, you know, behind the inspiration that we have, you know, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it totally does. I mean, because, you know, a lot of times there's these people that you've heard their music, but they're even a bigger giant, not just because of their music, but because of how they're taking care of their community, or they're supporting their community. I totally get that. So, with your magazine, where can someone find your magazine?
Really, on my website at this point. And the reason being is because I'm just an old soul, like I said before, and I just like the exclusiveness about that. You know, it's just like, you know, you going thrifting, and you find something, and it really Because when you find something, you find joy.
Right.
You know, everything that's just accessible, sometimes you really don't get the joy from it. So, like, the magazine to me is a find. Like, when you find it, you're like, wow. You know, and that's why I kind of have it on this platform. But
so what they do is order it go to your website and order it from. So it's not like it's an online. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that, and it still makes it accessible. Like you said, someone in Australia. You know, so it makes it accessible to people all over the place. So, one last question: where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself in 5 years actually being able to bring more people into this phenomenon, as well as saluting more people, because you know, not only is this a document opportunity for a lot of people's stories, but I get a chance to embrace people. And embracing people, I mean, you're celebrating them, you're showing them love, and a lot of the people that I talk to are seniors. You know, and that hurts too. You know, they feel like they're no one knows them. No one, you know, cares or anything like that. And I want them to know that you are relevant. I don't care at your age. You are relevant, and I want to show you that you're relevant. So in 5 years, I want to be able to touch more lives. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yes, they are relevant. And you are relevant.
Thank you so much.
It was such a pleasure having you here today. Where can our audience find you?
Oh, yeah. I'm all on social media. Eric Maurice Clark. Use that name and you'll find me everywhere.
Okay, you can find Eric Maurice Clark everywhere. One last thing. I know you're doing an event in October. Can you tell us a little bit about what your purpose will be there for that event?
Yes, Sister Brenda, and it is the Arizona West Coast Gospel Music Awards. So I'm overseeing the Legends segment of the awards show. So I'll be writing some things on some of these legends. Well, just receiving the Legend Awards, and that's basically what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to it too.
Yes, that's going to be exciting, and an exciting event for Arizona, because it's something that's new that's happening. So it was such a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to more from you and the magazine. And we thank you for joining us here on Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.
Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze was sponsored by Dork Publishing. Visit them at dorkpublishing.com.